What is going on, everybody? I am super excited on today. A few of you guys may have already seen us in some other things, but today officially marks the first day of the first episode of the new show, We Seen It. This is going to be a great show. We're going to be talking about all types of movies, all types of TV films, all types of genres. We're going to be talking about horror. We're going to be talking about superheroes, action, romance. If they filmed it and put it on TV, we seen it, and we probably going to be talking about it. I'm your host, Nate the Great, and I have with me an amazing cast and panel on today. I have my man Ed and my girl Vinny. Ed, how are you doing on today, man?
Good, man. If you see a little head pop up, it's the son. I'm out here,
No problem, man.
single father in it again. I'm just playing. The wife is
No, you're good.
I'm gonna have to come up with a moniker, man.
All right. Vinny, how you doing? How you doing?
Doing great. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, summer's almost over for you. How do you feel about that?
I'm just trying to soak it all in as much as I can. So
I feel you.
yeah,
I
that
feel you.
goes.
All right. Well, today's movie review is going to be about a movie that kind of should have came out a long time ago. It was postponed a few times, but nonetheless, we finally got the release of it in theaters and on Disney Plus. And today we're going to be talking about Black Widow. So without further ado, let's talk about it. So basically, the first question I got to ask is just a general question on what were you guys' initial thoughts after you guys just watched the movie? I don't know if you guys saw it in theaters or on Disney Plus, but what was it? Let's start with Ed first.
Man, I thought it was a really good movie. I don't know what expectations I had, but I thought I was entertained for 2 hours. I thought it was really good.
Nice. All right, Vinny.
Well, I enjoyed the movie. I was kind of expecting a little bit more just because this is Black Widow's first and presumably last movie. I did expect more from it, but other than that, I really did enjoy it.
Yeah, I gotta say the same, low key. It was actually a really enjoyable film. And honestly, it's like one of those films that I can go back and watch again, because with Black Widow, we already kind of saw what happened with her character in Endgame. So this movie wasn't trying to set up really anything crazy with her character per se. So it was kind of like that standalone action film movie that you can just watch again. I will say, however, that it didn't really feel entirely like a solo Black Widow movie, but we can get into that a little bit later. But overall, though, I did enjoy the movie. I really enjoyed it. It was good. So we know there are a lot of superhero movies out there that are primarily led by men. We have Thor, we have Captain America, Hulk, Batman, Superman, etc., etc. And most of those movies are male lead actors. Very rarely do we see a successfully good female-led action hero movie. And that isn't necessarily because females can't act. It's just the directing in the movie is just I think I can say, though, that Wonder Woman was probably the first successful and well-received action female superhero movie. So that being said, now that this Black Widow movie is out, do you guys think, and this is kind of like a question for Vinny specifically, but of course, Ed, you can answer too. Do you feel like Black Widow lived up to that caliber of Wonder Woman in terms of inspiring the next generation of females and young women? How do you feel about that? Of Black Widow living on par with Wonder Woman, or is it better?
I think it was around there. I remember watching Wonder Woman, and that was just a very different thing because that was probably one of the first movies I've seen that was just a fully led by a woman. But I think Black Widow was a very good movie. I like the fact that they incorporated, the other females and all that stuff. I don't think it would be above Wonder Woman to say, but I do think that it was a very good movie for what it was supposed to do.
Gotcha. All right, Ed, let's hear from you.
Okay, son.
Look at him. He got something to say too.
He got something to say too. It sounds weird saying it, but I don't think Black Widow could exist without Wonder Woman. even though we know Black Widow longer per se, because like Wonder Woman, that first one, it has its flaws, but it's a excellent movie. And I think when Marvel saw that, they're like, okay, we could this might be possible. Mm-hmm. And I think that the thing that Marvel had going for it is that we had an investment in Black Widow. I mean, that's like 10, 12 years worth of buildup. And we're only getting the Black Widow movie now, 13, 14 years in. So, yeah, but I don't think it could exist without Wonder Woman.
I actually agree with that. And it's kind of interesting that you say that, because over time, people like to compare the DCEU and the MCU. And they say, why doesn't DC just copy and paste what Marvel is doing? It could just be like the same formula and they can do it. But it's interesting that you say that Black Widow couldn't exist without Wonder Woman. It's like the roles are reversed. Now Marvel is kind of copying off of DC here. And I gotta actually agree with that, because I actually really enjoyed Wonder Woman. It actually shocked me. Not the second one. The second one was just atrocious. We're not even going to. That was awful. I mean, I don't really understand how you could just go from the first one to the second one. But nonetheless, that first Wonder Woman was just really impactful, even to me. Just seeing that movie just bring about such a dynamic character. And I agree that Black Widow does implement a lot of those characteristics on inspiring women and men alike. But you're right. I don't think it could exist without Wonder Woman. And I don't think I would say it's better than Wonder Woman. I do think that we personally should have gotten the Black Widow movie around the time the Iron Man movie came out. After that one, we should have probably got this movie earlier, but needless to say, I still think it was really good. But yeah, interesting. Okay. So let's talk about the villains for a second. All right, so we have Dreykov, who was probably like the head villain of the whole movie. And we have his hench person that he sent out, Taskmaster. What were your thoughts on the villains here? Let's start with Ed.
Terrible. Like, it's a good move. Like, I was trying to explain this to a coworker this week. I was like, the interplay between the family and then, Black Widow and her sister, great. But the villain legitimately only, the combat villain, because there's two villains. The combat villain had one line the entire movie. Right. I don't know how they signed, because that actress is a fairly, she's a known actress, a C or B league actress, and she only signed up for one line. And then
that's crazy.
And I feel like the what's the guy's name?
Dreykov.
Yeah. That wasn't. I felt like that wasn't Black Widow's fight. It felt more so like her sister should be taking him on, because she was so far removed from that world. But that's just. I thought the villains were terrible.
Yeah, I agree. Vinny, let's hear from you.
I do agree with Earl. I didn't really enjoy the villain at all. Dreykov, I have to agree, like, that wasn't her fight, because she was known as an Avenger. For her to be fighting him, it didn't really make sense in that sense. And then the female, I don't even know what she was really there for. I get the whole part where it's like, oh, she got burned, but I didn't really see the need for her or really for Dreykov in that sense.
Yeah, I have to say that though this movie was overall good, I think they missed with the villains on this one. Now, my problem with it, along with like tons of other people around the internet and stuff, is Taskmaster. Now, if you know anything about the comics or anything, we know that first off, Taskmaster is a male. I forgot his first name, but his last name is Masters. And his ability is to be able to mimic the other person's movements. If he sees it one time, he's able to mimic it. Growing up, I used to watch the Spider-Man animated series. I have the Spider-Man game on PS4, and Taskmaster was an integral villain to Spider-Man. And they always had problems fighting with each other because, Spider-Man is really great with his agility and athleticism and fighting and stuff. And so Taskmaster can copy that. And it's a real problem for Spider-Man. the way they portrayed it in this movie left me with mixed emotions. Now, I personally don't necessarily have a problem with a female playing this character, especially because in the context of the movie, it actually makes sense. But it's just, I didn't feel like it was Taskmaster. I didn't. I feel like because the suit that she had on was robotic and it kind of just mimicked everything based off studying it as a, algorithm. And to me, it just didn't feel like Taskmaster. And like you said, they only had just one line in the whole movie. It was just like, it wasn't given the way it was supposed to give, especially in the trailers. I was super hyped for it. I mean, the action scenes between the characters was okay, but like, I wasn't really feeling it. As far as Dreykov goes, I gotta agree with Ed again. Yeah, it's just to me, he kind of seemed a little corny and cheesy. Someone that said this before, they said he was like a 007 villain. And I kind of got those vibes too, because I was like, yeah, he wasn't intimidating to me. He wasn't really intimidating. And so I think the villains, they missed on this one. Yeah. So yeah.
I got one thing to say about one of the main negatives for like most Marvel movies. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's a great movie," but the villain was just, it wasn't there.
Right.
I think a lot of times, and they have a history of doing this. I think Thanos and Killmonger are the exception because they were their own person. Mm-hmm. But like a lot of times, the villains in Marvel movies, they only exist for that movie. They're there to push the plot forward. Like Taskmaster they made it a female so that it can have the backstory of this is his, spoiler alert, this is his daughter who you thought you killed. Where they change it, like with I think it's Spider-Man 2 or 3 with the Mandarin. The Mandarin, if you know the comics, is supposed to be a big bad guy, but they made it so that he was in the actor, and they take the villains from the comics, and a lot of times they twist them so that they fit the purposes of that specific movie and not anything else.
Yep, I agree. Do you think, based off what you were saying, do you think that Taskmaster is going to get another chance on the big screen, or do you think that particular character is just done for?
This is a one-off. She's out of here. If it pops up, it'll be on like the Black Widow sisters Disney Plus 6-episode run or something like that.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same. I was like, the only way they could really revive this character is if they really go with this whole multiverse thing and just this particular Taskmaster from a different universe. But I kind of agree, kind of like the same thing with the Mandarin. It's kind of just like a one-off character. I can't really see them bringing him back. Although, based off of the Shang-Chi trailer, it seemed like Abomination was in that movie. And I thought he was a one-off character,
But I think that's going to be like a 5-10 second thing. And then Abomination is going to be gone.
True. Yeah. So let's talk about the actual characters. Natasha Romanoff and her sister Yelena. How do you feel about those characters? Did Scarlett Johansson encapsulate the character of Black Widow? And how do you feel about actually, this is the first time we saw her sister on there. I forgot her name, but the person who played Yelena. How do you feel about them?
I personally feel like they both played their role very well. The lady's name I think is Florence Pugh. I've seen her in other roles, and I think her role as Yelena was very good. I enjoyed the way that they interacted between each other. So yeah, all around, I think they both played sisters well, and they played their own characters well.
I gotta say that I feel like Florence Pugh as Yelena kind of took over the movie. I mean, I hate to say it like that because I know it was a Black Widow movie, and it was tribute to her character. But I really feel like Florence Pugh just took her character and just ran with it. And she kind of just stole the show. Now, of course, Scarlett Johansson did an excellent job, not putting her down by any means. But like I said, Florence Pugh really just took over the movie. Every time she was on scene, every time she had a line, every time she did something, I kind of just fell in love with her character. I was like, I like her, So that's how I kind of feel about it. They both did an excellent job, but she definitely stole the show.
Yeah, I agree. Like you said, I think both of you said, it didn't really feel like Black Widow's movie. It felt like Yelena's movie.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Florence Pugh killed it. Like, I promise you, that scene when they're in the store and she mocks how she lands, is like top 5 funniest thing I've seen.
Definitely. I was cracking up.
Yeah, so she stole the show for sure.
Yep. I remember going. So I actually saw the Black Widow movie in LA with my mom, and my family. Went to this movie theater, and like I said, every time she was on the screen, I mean, she just took over the crowd. The audience was just in love with her, and like you said, that scene, everybody was just dying at that scene, and she really just stole the show. I mean, so that being said, now knowing that Black Panther has died in Endgame, spoiler alert. Do you think they're going to go forward with making Florence Pugh's character, Yelena, the new Black Widow? What are your thoughts on that?
I think she'll take that spot as, a female hero in the inner circle of, the Avengers. But I don't think necessarily it'll be Black Widow, but I do think they're, like, if you watch to the end of the movie, there's that teaser, which I don't know who I don't know who Val was because I didn't watch Winter Soldier, because I heard the show was bad, but I know she's in it. But it's just I don't want to have to sit through a Hawkeye TV show to see more of Yelena. Like, if they could somehow give her own movie, or do like they did in the early on, have her show up in one movie, have her show up in another movie, and kind of build her. I'm more interested in that.
Okay, Vinny?
Yeah, I do agree. I don't think she's going to really take over as the new Black Widow, but I definitely think they're going to find a way to incorporate her in the MCU, because like we've already said, like, this was practically her movie. It was practically like them showing us who she was and how she can be influential to the MCU. So yeah. Gotcha.
It's interesting. You said you didn't see the Falcon and Winter Soldier show on Disney Plus. You said you heard bad reviews. Don't get me wrong. There were a lot of bad reviews, and even personally, I didn't care too much about it. But what the MCU does, of course, is anytime they make a movie or a TV show, it's like you kind of have to watch it to kind of keep up with it, unfortunately, even if it's bad. And so if viewers don't watch the Falcon and Winter Soldier series on Disney Plus, they may be kind of confused at the end of Black Widow. Now, like I said earlier in the beginning, this movie wasn't necessarily meant to set up like a whole string of things. It was kind of supposed to be Black Widow's own movie. But again, with Marvel, at the end of credits, they always have something to kind of tease something. And so again, if viewers have not seen Falcon and Winter Soldier, they may be just a little bit confused about the characters at the end of the movie. But nonetheless, I think that Florence Pugh's character is still going to have a really big part in it. I heard someone say that they're trying to set up like the Dark Avengers. And if you watch Falcon and Winter Soldier, you would understand some things on why they said that with Captain America or U.S. agent and Yelena's character and different things like that. So I heard they're trying to set up maybe a Dark Avengers, which would be interesting. I don't know about that though. We'll see. I mean, they have a whole 10 years ahead of them and more. So, So in the news, it has been reported that Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney for releasing her movie on Disney Plus. Now, this is after they had promised her that there is only going to be a theatrical release, because apparently Scarlett Johansson won't benefit from it being on Disney Plus. She won't get any revenue from it. So she's suing it. I don't want to necessarily get too deep into it, but I will ask this question. How do you guys feel about big companies like Disney Plus and HBO Max and stuff releasing the theatrical version and then putting it on their streaming services? And I know as far as Disney Plus goes, they also like charge people to watch it. How do you guys feel about that? Let's start with Vinny first.
Well, I can say personally, I don't really think it is the smartest idea, especially for actors and actresses, because personally, I watched it on Disney Plus, but we had like 15 people watching it with us on one account. So we were able to. So I think that's not, of course, like really fair for actors and actresses who have spent months and years working on these films just to not receive the same cut that they would have if it would have just came out in theaters.
Okay, gotcha. Ed, let's hear it.
Personally, I love it. Like, I like staying at home. I'm an introvert. So like, if I could watch a movie, same day, don't tempt me with a good time.
Right.
But overall, like Divinity said, for the actors and actresses, it's a bad idea and for the companies, it's a bad idea to unless they rework it. Like I know with Wonder Woman 2 was supposed to come out in theaters.
Right.
But because it didn't, they gave Gal Gadot an additional $10 million because I guess like she had the same contract as ScarJo with, she gets a certain percentage of the box office, movie take.
Right.
And unless they switch it so that she gets a percentage of the at-home buys, it's not worth it because she was supposed to get 20 mil up front and then a percentage of the box office. But I think that first weekend it made 80 million in theaters and 60 million at home.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Instead of it making 140 million in theaters and then her getting a cut of that. So they've got to rework the contracts if they're going to keep doing that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and like you said, I have kind of mixed opinions about this because, especially due to the pandemic, it kind of shifted how people do a lot of things, going to work, watching things, hanging out with people. It's just things have changed. And so when it comes to streaming new movies that are supposed to be released in theaters, on the one hand, I kind of like the fact that you're able to do and watch the movie anytime, anywhere. It's right there. You don't necessarily have to go to theaters. You don't have to be in that setting. And especially, like I said, because of, COVID going on, it's safer to be in your house. But I guess the downside for me is specifically with Disney Plus, they charge about isn't it like price like $29.99, like $30 to watch the movie?
$30.
Yeah. Now, granted, on the grand scheme of things, that isn't a lot of money, because you can have as many people as you want watching it at once, and I think you get to keep it. But all in all, I personally can't see myself paying $30. I haven't done it for Cruella. I haven't done it for Jungle Cruise. I haven't done it for any of the movies that have premiere access, because I just feel like if HBO can release their movies for free and I'm already having a subscription that I'm paying for, I kind of feel like either Disney needs to lower their price personally, or just make it for free if I'm already having a streaming service. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
But I didn't pay $30 for that movie. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, that's the best part, when somebody else or use somebody else's account, they already did it.
I'm not even saying I did that. I'm just saying I have a way of procuring movies, and I watched it.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, there are some interesting ways you can get around doing stuff. Try to keep it legal here. But basically, neither one of you guys went to the movie theaters and seen it? Okay.
No.
No.
So kind of like going forward, do you let's say the pandemic, like if and when the pandemic ends and ceases and we find out how to get back to life, movie theaters are officially like really back open again and movies are going in theaters. Will you guys continue streaming stuff or go to the movies? Or is just like a permanent thing? You guys are going to stay streaming stuff, or how is that going to go going forward?
If they offer it, I'll stay at home.
Stay at home?
Like you've already proven you can do it.
True.
Like, I mean, this is a bad example, but like, what was it, 7-8 years ago? Remember when they were like, Taco Bell doesn't have real meat?
Mm-hmm.
And then Taco Bell on Saturdays and Sundays was giving out, like it was like 60-cent tacos. And then after, they got good publicity, it went back up to like $1.50. No. We know you can sell those tacos at 60 cents. Like,
Right.
I know you can put this movie on the app the day it's released. Just go ahead and do it. There's I don't want to set foot in the movie theater. My son don't want to set foot in the movie theater. What
about the experience though? Like, what about like you're sitting in front of, with people on that huge screen with surround sound? You don't think the experience outweighs the convenience?
Man, it's too many unvaccinated people out here in these streets.
That's
man.
true. That's true. That's true. Divinity, do you feel the same way?
Yeah. So I would have to disagree because personally, I enjoy the experience more. When Twilight first come out like in theaters, like watching that in the theater and everyone like having their own opinions, that was so entertaining. But like when you watch it at home now, like, oh, it's just me and my thoughts. So I enjoy, you know, people, the ohs, the ahs, the laughs. I enjoy all of that. So I would definitely say.
Did you say Twilight?
Hey, Twilight was a good movie.
Hey, she was like 4 years old when Twilight came out.
That's true. How old were you?
Like 7, 8, you know.
Wow, that's crazy. I think personally, if the option is still there, I think I'll make a choice if, depending on what the movie is and who directed it, and if I'm really feeling it, I think I'll go to the movie. And that's only because I love the movie experience. I used to, me and my friend, we used to go like almost every Saturday to go watch a new movie in the theaters. And we went like super early in the morning. And that was like just part of my childhood, just growing up going to the movies. And you just can't beat the experience. Now, I have a projector in my living room that we watch movies on, really big dimensions. We have surround sound systems, and it's cool. It's good. We watched A Quiet Place Part 2 on it. But it still couldn't beat that theater experience. The popcorn, the smell, the people, like Vanity said, the laughter. It's just, I don't know. I just feel like you can't beat it. And like I said earlier, I'm not going to pay, as far as Disney Plus goes, I'm not going to pay $30 for a movie unless someone else paid for it, or I watch it bootleg.
I'll look you up, Nate. I got you.
All right, man. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, unless it's some other way, I can't see myself paying. I would literally wait until the movie comes out. I mean, it's not that deep to me. And so if the opportunity presented itself where I thought the movie was really anticipated and I really wanted to see it, I would go see it in theaters.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like certain stuff like Infinity War.
Yeah.
You gotta go.
You can't watch that on TV.
So I agree.
Yeah. All right. So pretty much the last question to kind of wrap everything up about the Black Widow movie. If you were to give it a star rating from 1 to 5, what would you give this movie overall? Let's start with Vinny.
So I enjoyed it, but I don't think I would give it like a 5 stars. I would give it more of like 4.5 maybe, because I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed the drama that came with the movie, but again, I didn't really enjoy the villains that were in the movie. So I think that takes away from it in like the whole scheme of things. But I would say it was high, but I don't think it was 5 stars.
Okay. So like you looking like at a 4 or 3.5?
Yeah, like 4.5 maybe.
Okay.
Not 5.
Okay. Cool. Ed, let's hear it.
I based it off of the Captain America Winter Soldier movie. Yeah. It's kind of like, spy espionage type of deal. And I give that a 4.5 popcorns.
Mm-hmm.
So Black Widow is a step below because I those villains are terrible. So I'll give it 4 popcorns.
All right. I kind of had to agree with that. I was kind of trying to compare it to Winter Soldier, because like you said, Winter Soldier, man, when that movie came out, it was exhilarating. It was like everything you wanted in a spy movie, it delivered. And this was kind of, Black Widow was kind of that runner up to it. It definitely, in my opinion, was not on par with Winter Soldier. So I'm not going to give it a 5-star. Honestly, I'm not even going to give it a 4-star because of the villains and because I didn't think it felt like a Black Widow movie. So I got to give it, I keep saying star, a popcorn. I got to give it 3.5 popcorn. Again, if it would have felt like a Black Widow movie, and if the villains would have just been a little bit better, or a lot better, I would have bumped up the score. So I'm giving it a 3.5. So that pretty much wraps up everything. I'm excited because, like I said, we're going to be talking about other genres of movies. I know we talked about a lot of superheroes lately. This was a nice, chill conversation, unlike the last episode we did with top 5 villains. If you have not seen it, make sure you go watch it. It's crazy. It's Holy Shinobi. I don't know.
X wasn't here, or Shinobi, or whatever you want to be called. He liked controversy.
No, for real. Y'all thought I was a villain when I said Tobey Maguire, but that man,
like, you've come off as very personable. I like you now.
See, yeah, exactly. See, But then, I mean, again, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. But again, this was our official first episode of the new show. We Seen It on the Mighty Sharp Network. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what you thought about the movie. We'd love to hear it. Again, We Seen It. Now you can too. All right, we'll see you next time.